Oh, what you do? Welcome. Center Sunday dinner with the Gordon family.
The revolution will not be televised.
I like to say I meditate on what is I'm going to work on, or I meditate on the canvas, and after a while,
statements out to the people through his work, and you do the same thing, Q. So you're representing very well here on the Malcolm Jamal Warner tribute. Now we're going to take some time right now to see Malcolm Jamal in action right here on the BAF Solutions Network.
Blacker than self.
Well, welcome, Center Sunday dinner.
Hello, everyone. It's like the internet wants to run a little slow on us today. But we are here live in the Chemic Club on this Center Sunday. And we are going to gather today to talk about this film as we look around at this beautiful place where we get to come together and discuss the Sinners movie. Now, this movie, on its first weekend at the box office, overperformed, grossing $48 million domestically and $63 million globally. And it made history as the second best Monday for an R-rated horror film at the box office, earning $7.8 million. And that's after 2017's It movie, which did $8.76 million. So it's quite a successful film. It is full of themes to talk about. And last week, we talked about Mary and Stack and looked at their relationship dynamics, talked about whether it was love or lust, and some of the power dynamics between their relationship. And we got into some of the the tropes that we have with light skin or white women, or whether or not you are black or white, depending on how much uh, color you have in you. And even said how when I grew up, a drop of black blood meant you were black. But in more recent times, that has changed, and we hear other names for that, and you get to claim who you want to be. And so that was an interesting dynamic. And so I thought today that we would take a look at Smoke and Annie. Their relationship is different, and of course, like the twins are different. So naturally, they would gravitate to women who are different as well. And so with this one, um, we saw Smoke and Annie being kind of they're having an undeniable charge between the two of them. And now, unlike Stack and Annie, not unlike Stack and Mary, Smoke and Annie are married. They also have experienced some grief. They lost a daughter as an infant. And through time passing, they still ache for each other and still gravitated in each other's direction. So in this particular film, we saw Smoke come back. When he came back to Mississippi, he sought out Annie. And during their relationship, we saw two people that clung to something holy and fragile, even without really knowing how to name it. They have a relationship that's heavy with memories, and it lingered on in the soil of the bayou. So obviously they had an attraction for each other. Since they were married, we can at least assume that this is a love relationship. No question, or at least not as much question about their relationship as it was about Stack and Annie's relationship, or whether they were lusting after each other or really loved each other, particularly considering she was considered white and him being black in the early 30s in Mississippi, and having which was a rather dangerous time for him in particular, to date a white woman. And even with that, she still said she wanted to be with him. But in this case, Annie and Smoke, they started after, well, at least in the film here, we saw Smoke coming back to Annie after deciding to open up the juke joint. And he wants Annie to prepare the meals for them, right? If you recall that, I think it was catfish he asked her to cook. And Annie said, after Smoke went to her with her proposition, these are Annie's words: "I thought y'all were done with the Delta. Last I heard, y'all were northern men." Annie doesn't raise her voice when she says it. She doesn't need to. There's no malice. The line is both tender and is cutting at the same time. The kind of sentence that remembers who, when, and who left. So in Sinners, the love between Annie and Smoke isn't loud. It's slow, it's southern, it's simmered in grief, devotion, and careful preservation. In the shack, which is where they are when he comes back to Annie to talk to her, there was some tension, right? Because he's been gone for a while and up in Chicago, and just left basically. And if you recall in that scene too, Annie held a blade to Smoke's neck firm, wavering. Smoke with conviction offered her money. Said, put that blade away, woman. And this the kind of money that he offered was not the kind of money that she wanted to receive. She said, I don't want your money. Your money comes with blood. And she was rejecting the lure that preceded the smokestack twins. And after the blade lowered its her paced aside her strength. He says, I seen men die ways I ain't even know was possible. I ain't ever saw no roots, no demons, no ghosts, no magic, just power. He didn't believe in no myth. That's all he trusted was power. So not anything you could hold, shoot, or bury. He believed in war. Obviously, the twins had come from the war, come home from war, and were not treated the same way in which they were when they were in uniform once they came back. But though Smoke kind of believed in that war, Annie believed in ritual. So it was kind of fight in a war way with him, and then fight in a more ritualized way with Annie. So we saw that with the hoodoo and what she did. So there was kind of space between them all the time. Smoke was moving around like he was in a battlefield, kind of cautious. He had a little paranoia. Um, he was always bracing to start a fire or become one. Annie, on the other hand, she was rooted in that ancient practice of hoodoo, move like someone trying to mend something invisible, and still he stood in her world without mocking it, just as she let him in without ever demanding that he believe. So we saw with Smoke that his warlike presence kind of softened, and Annie placed a hand on Smoke's chest to find the man who left for Chicago. Uh, she says, his chest, if you remember, on his chest there, it was, he had the mojo bag. She said, you still got that mojo bag? And she looked up at him to match his gaze. And he didn't say a word, he just unbuttoned his suit jacket, proving he didn't need to believe in Annie's word to carry a piece of it. For 7 years, he wore what she gave him out of blind faith. And you could tell pretty much that he believed that the mojo bag was helping him as he lasted throughout all their ordeal in Chicago, but also toward the end of the movie, he actually ripped it off when he got ready to shoot up the Klansman. And so at that point, I guess he knew he didn't want to be saved anymore. So he, tossed it and said, let's go, let's get at it. Anyway, so we had a little difference in this relationship that we saw last week with Annie and Stack. So again, I'm going to ask the same question, starting off with, do you think this was a loving relationship or a lustful one? And then who held the power in this relationship? And hello, Shonda. Good to have you.
Hey, happy Sunday fun day. How are you, Mama Julie? What's up, brother Julian?
Yes, doing good.
So, I just hopped in. So, what was the topic of conversation about? Like, why were you talking about their relationship? And were you talking about how they were ready in their styles of like readiness, as far as like her hoodoo and ritualistic ways versus his militaristic ways. Was that the
Yeah, Julia's gonna put
conversation?
something here so we can hear you a little better. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
about how their relationship is than the one we talked about last year with Stack and Annie. But whether or not you really believe that the two of them had that loving relationship, that it was questionable last week about Stack and Annie, whether or not their relationship was actually a loving one or a more lustful one, and their dynamics were different. The power dynamics in particular, or were they different? I don't want to assume that they were, that you think they were or not, but I ask you, what does that look like for them? Do you think they were in a loving relationship, being married, having suffered from grief, being able to move past that and still come to each other? And the same with their power dynamics. What did their power, who held the power in the relationship, her, Spoke, or Annie? Or did you see a balance?
So, yeah, again, always disclaimer, I really just watched this movie one time. But I definitely feel like I watched it many times now. I believe that I don't know the character's name, but definitely the twin with the sister, their relationship to me definitely authentic, for sure. Like compared to the how we discussed with the other relationship with the non-melanated chica, and how it could be seen that like yes, it's love, but it's like love because it's like a rebellious love. This love is like love, like a traditional love, right? And even just like this image on the screen, like it's just pure love. It just seems like compared to the love of like, oh yeah, I'm with somebody that I'm not supposed to be with, and but at the same time, like they loved each other, but he knew he could never really be with her, and she knew that she couldn't really be with him. But these two, there are no blockages. Like they were even able to have a child. Yes, the child was killed somehow. I'm sure wherever they explained it, and just they were still just grieving. But like at the same time that in that time, um, year of time, like they didn't have the healing tools that we have now to heal in a healthy way, grieving, and then to be able to still be that emotional support for each other. um so yeah, like for me, like yeah, I love how they show the dynamics of their relationship. Definitely traditional, right? Just man and woman, just pure, pretty brown skin love. Like we love each other, and it's good to see us together with each other, being in unison. Hence why she always was protective of him, versus the other twin having to think that he gotta be protective of the non-melanated chica, and making sure that she go and be with who she need to be with. But it really was to protect them both. They don't have to be as protected, they just have to, they protect each other's hearts together, like, so it's just pure love, because they
Mm-hmm.
ain't have to like hide behind anything, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, good, very good. Wonderful observations about their relationship and the difference between the Stack and Mary's relationship. Julian, did you want to add to that, the power dynamics and or their love versus lust in Smoke and Annie relationship?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to say. Yeah, she pretty much summed it all up.
Okay. Very good. I think so. I think you did a great job, Shonda. You did.
Well, thank you. I mean,
um,
this conversation flow, it flows in that way. Like, 'cause who really would think of it to go into this type of discussion and comparing their relationships? And it's obvious, like their relationships were definitely two different
yeah.
relationships. And then thinking of the time of the year, like, yeah, they had to be different.
Hmm.
But I mean, I would have preferred for sure choosing to be Annie and smoke and have that relationship any
Hmm.
day, all day.
Hmm.
Give me my brother, man. I love our brothers, our men.
I
But
mean,
so,
they were at
and
the end. They
that's
were
the
at the end. Smoking Annie were a match in heaven, a match made in heaven. But at
Hmm.
the end, Stack and Mary were a match made on Earth. So that's a different.
right,
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. The idea of eternal life, which we touched on before, that Stack and Mary were going to live forever. However, were they going to enjoy their eternal life because they couldn't even come out during the day?
Mhm.
They would always be surrounded by that sin, as opposed to Smoke and Annie, who have gathered together eternally in heaven with their and reunited now with their daughter. And
right.
yeah, yeah. So how do you think that loss that they experienced, the grief, and even the sins, the past sins, affected their relationship?
Could you ask that one more time?
How do you think their grief and their past sins affected their relationship and or
Who's with
Smoke and Annie?
both, right? Because like being in a relationship with Smoke is like being in a relationship with the dope boy, you know. Like, so it's
Yeah,
both,
yeah,
Mm.
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Um, it's like, I'm sure they like she don't want to blame him for the loss of their child, but I know
Mhm.
spiritually, like she probably thinking like, man, this could be some karmic debt for the wrongs the sins that you've done,
Yes,
your
yes,
past, like,
yes.
criminal shit. Like like I believe there was a scene where she was like, yo, your shit gonna come up to get you. It's gonna catch up with you one day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
So it's
And at the
both,
end,
right? Both the grievances. Uh huh.
yeah, near the end, when after they had gathered together in eternal life, she asked him to either it was putting down the cigarette or it was something that she told him to put away because she didn't want it to affect the baby. So it's like whatever that was you had, like you were talking about his past sins and all, she didn't want the baby to be affected by that, even in life eternally.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, yeah, it was really toward, it was that scene in the end where they reunited with the baby. She was nursing
Oh,
the
was that the
baby.
first thing that she said? Like, put down that cigarette.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, she said that.
something, it was somewhere around in there.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to see if we can find that scene and show it again. But but yeah, definitely that those things played a part in their relationship. And what about what we saw the difference in how they move? Like Annie and Shonda, I think you said she always was protective over him. So her use of hoodoo as protections, how does that compare with Smoke's approach for protection?
Um, I mean, I believe in both. So I appreciate Ryan Coogler for showing both because I believe we need both. Like we're living in a society where that's how they meet us with their violence, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, we are a African people.
Yes. Yes.
And the power in our spirituality is just as great,
Mm-hmm.
and so she puts her faith, her highest faith in that. He just believes that like, yo, like, yes, there's a higher power, but I don't believe it right now. But like I know that this protects me from man and I can protect myself from man more than God protecting me, right? Because like again, he has a grief of well, where was that higher power to protect our child,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so yeah, like I think it's necessary to show both because
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the balance of both as people. We live in this society, especially in America. Gun rights, having guns is Second Amendment is real.
Yeah.
You need protection because of their sins. Like I love the expression like, "Oh man, this is our father's sins," or something they be saying about the colonizer coming over here. Like, yeah, their father's sins or whatever, their grandfather's sins or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, like the gun and the violence, like they're just ruthless. But like at the same time, I believe that yeah, you can combat them spiritually too because there's a higher power,
Yeah.
and that higher power is gonna really almighty in the end.
So not only the gun, but also money. Money is another state of protection
Mm.
that he's able to have because he was able to walk around confidently with his suit and know that they were protected. If anything happens, then they could buy somebody's job. They had enough money to outpay the highest musician, the highest paid musician, things like that.
Yeah.
And then they were also able to have some protection when he pulled up in the truck and the guy was trying to steal from him. And obviously, he already had a name for himself because everybody was like, "Oh, the brother, the smoking stack. Oh, the smoking stack." So they most likely had some protections with the gun already established, but then with the money, they knew that nobody could say anything to him because the guy was trying to steal from him. So they knew that they had more power and they could walk around shooting people because even easier in the middle of the street because they now had a truck. They now had that power and nothing even happened because of it. So obviously it showed that well, the police officers did have some type of they did want some revenge or they did want to take him in, but it wasn't even more so because he shot somebody. It was just because they were just off after the money. So yeah, so the power dynamic there is with money as well. Yeah.
It
Okay.
sure is. Money is power. Everybody know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely saw that
Didn't
play
I
out in
learn
the movie.
that? Huh?
Yeah, we definitely saw that play out in the movie. That gave them some power.
Right.
But with their relationship, we saw last week with Mary, her kind of having more manipulating type of power, like trying to seduce Stack to come with her, to be with her. And the Annie and Smoke relationship seems to be more, I don't know, they seem to have a little more balance in terms of the power for each other. Like they respect each other's differences. So she uses her hoodoo, he uses his weapons, but they don't, neither one of them tell each other to put them down. They respect it. As a matter of fact, Smoke asked Annie, "Do you have anything for my brother?" After he had gotten bit by Mary, right? And
Right.
she, and he did throw back and say, why couldn't you find anything for our baby? You didn't have anything then. But when the vampires were there, even with Staff, after he got bit, she threw that garlic stuff on him and saved some people. So he did respect that mode because sometimes that gun didn't do the trick.
Right.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see um, their relationship and how that pans out. So last week he talked too about the light skinned woman, the octoroon, I think she was referred to as.
Yep,
And
they're like noise.
huh?
Yeah, they call it octave something.
Yes, yes. So she got that eighth of a blood in her. Um, but so here we have Smoke, on the other hand, having a dark skinned woman as opposed to the lighter hue of woman with Stack. Do you see any themes, anything that comes up with the difference in the complexions?
But I mean, I appreciate that they use a darker skinned woman for Miss Annie and did not have a light skinned woman like that one actress who played in Lovecraft Country, the light skinned one who could sing. Um like I'm glad they didn't have her, because I like that they used the darker skinned woman because it shows always darker the berry, the sweet juice. Nothing, no offense, Mama Julie. I just learned that I'm light skinned too. Um, but anyway, so like it was cool to see that, because I remember growing up that, dark skin was just like really not appealing, you know.
Mm,
But the Octa Mulatto Chica, you know, um, yeah, I don't think that it's about light skin with her. I just think that, it goes similar to it goes back to what, like, I believe Brother Arkey mentioned last week about the taboo
mm-hmm.
and the desire to want something that you really can't have.
Mm, mm, yeah.
Right. But then I think they grew up together though as children. So if they grew up together as children, you get what I'm saying? Like that love could be really pure because they know each other since children. Children are innocent,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Look.
But yeah, as far as the sister, I'm glad they got a sister. I'm glad they kept it. I'm glad they really kept it, in order. They had the Asians with the Asians. You get what I'm saying? And they had man and wife together. They showed that, even the big man and his woman, right? Like they were still a unit, and that showed that unit of everybody together in solidarity. I just appreciate, showing healthy relationships. But
Mm,
y'all, I gotta jump on this other meeting.
okay.
So I gotta hop out.
Okay. Okay. It's a good time because we're about to take a little break and have something from that King Julian is going to share with us during this break time.
Yeah, yeah,
And then we'll
yeah.
come back
Okay,
and
what you
talk
about
more.
to say?
It's DJ Slidems.
Thank you for being here.
So we heard
All
so
right, y'all.
nine. Yep, yep, yep. Take care. Thanks for joining. Much love. So we heard from So 9 earlier. So 9 was creating a great vibe in the intro with divine timing. So I was on the drums and we had So Nine on vocals. We also had a piano player, Sam Bailey, that I actually went to church with. And then we also had the two guitarists, an electric guitarist and a bass guitarist. So you can find that on Field Notes Volume 2. And he's doing an amazing job bringing together people. And we actually played some music and we were jamming last night, and it was a lot of fun at a seed giveaway and a plant soil ceremony. So we were actually getting prepared for planting a tree at Centennial Academy. So that was real cool being able to go over there at Centennial, where I had another friend that actually went to school there. So that was So Nine, SEAUX 9, and you can actually find him on YouTube and all streaming platforms. And I also wanted to show you, I'll play some more of his music a little later, but this is a track that I made when I started making, well, let me say right after the Sinners movie, I made one beat, and then I was thinking about making another track that was similar to the dance scene, and this is what came of it. At first, it had some extra bass in there, some extra kick drums and whatnot. But I got brothers and some folks that love the hip hop style of it. So I'll play how I played it in the original, and then I'll show you how it sounds with just the hip hop. See, just the hip hop. Yeah, so this has a lot of the swing, has some of that swing, the ragtime. That's what I was going for. But then, since it's so many different things, like that dark type of sound, and the piano just real solemn, like somebody's turning into a zombie. It's getting eerie, it's getting eerie, and then just that extra ghouly sound. There you have it. I won't bore you all too much, but just wanted to go ahead and give you all an Afrofuturistic theme song there. get you ready for the drums, drones, and dreams. So that is bringing in a lot of the historical aspects with West African, and you hear the different percussions and different types of vibrations going on to curate this Afrofuturism. So, without further ado, that was the Drums, Drones, and Dreams with DJ Slydem, and we call it Black to the Future. So you can find Black to the Future on Saturday Night Live as well. So go ahead and go to that subscribe button so you can be notified on all of the upcoming videos.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, Julian. That sounded phenomenal. Yay. And so we're back with Smoke and Annie. We got Smoke, kind of cold businessman, wanted that money so he could have that power. And then we, of course, have Annie. And Annie is played by Wunmi Mosaku. Wunmi Mosaku. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not, but it spells like that. And of course, we know the twins were both played by Michael B. Jordan. Yes. And so we were talking about how this, they have a difference in women, the light one, the dark one, how they were portrayed. Because we saw Mary being rather seductive in her approach, and a little more manipulative, more loud. Annie is a little bit more calming, more nurturing, and has a different, well, she practices hoodoo, so different belief system, if you will, and kind of a spiritual leader or an herbalist. She's also passionate and protective, particularly of Smoke. And there, of course, we're talking about how their marriage has suffered because they lost their daughter, but they were able to come back together and be a family again in the afterlife. In terms of her portrayal, and one of the I guess things that people say was that she was more motherly, more nurturing. Some people even thought she was Smoke's mother and not his wife. Did you ever consider that or think about that as an option?
No, it's not. I mean, they look like they're close in age. They don't really look that much different in age.
Yeah.
And I thought there was something. I thought she said something like your mom wouldn't want you to do that, or
Yeah, she may
something like
have.
that.
She may have. I
Or
think,
maybe she was talking about the prayer. I believe she was talking about the prayer warriors. Like she was like, yeah, your mother was praying for you, and grandma was praying for you.
yes, yes. Yeah, I think they were referring to her more. There's an image of them or a couple of images where she is standing over him, and so kind of he's sitting. So it's more like she's being more protective, like, hey, everything's gonna be okay, son, kind of like that. And some people saw it that way. It's not something that everybody may have picked up on in that role, but definitely different than what we saw with the relationship that was dangerous for Stat. Um, uh, and she is in a sense because she's very protective of him, more like a mother figure in that sense, I guess. But definitely a safe place for him. Um, oh, let me ask this because we saw, yeah, that's one of the images there where he's sitting and she's standing over him. But one of the um, I lost my train of thought. But it was about the her wanting to, I guess, take care of him in a different kind of way than say Annie would have. Oh, I know what it was that the way Ryan Coogler did these relationships. If you notice, there are more intimate scenes. There was no nudity in the movie. Did you notice that all of those sexual scenes, the tension and all that, they had no nudity? And do you have any idea why Coogler might have wanted it that way, or kept it that way? Because it is an R-rated movie.
I mean, I don't know. It made the first thing I think about is the time that it was in. You typically you don't reveal a lot of your body. So I think that's a part of it.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's something to consider, and that's a good reasoning. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer why he filmed it that way. It's something for us to research, I guess, and see if we can get some answers from Ryan Coogler as to why it was done that way. But the time period makes a lot of sense.
It's also just focusing on the zombies and as opposed to the love,
Yeah,
all of
or even because before the vampires were came out, but maybe instead of it being more exploitative for either of them, maybe focusing more on their vulnerability, how their relationship is with each other, and they're being vulnerable with each other without exploiting the characters. I don't know. That's
yeah,
another way to maybe consider
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah. And so we saw another thing, and you just showed it in that image, that Annie is dressed in blue. Usually it's either like a teal color or a Hank blue that she has on. And she has her own mojo bag. You see her around her neck. And she usually has a compartment where she does keep her knives and her scissors in case she had to cut off some roots. She has what's called a chatelaine, which is where she could have some holy water if she needs pickle juice or garlic to sprinkle on someone. We saw that definitely come in handy in the vampire scene. Yeah, yeah. So where Smoke has accessories that help him his mode of protection.
Yeah,
We,
she's resourceful.
yes, Annie is ready. She stays ready for whatever spirits may come her
But
way.
Mary had a gun too, though. Mary pulled a gun on the vampires.
Yeah, if I recall,
I don't know what happened, why she didn't shoot him.
when she left the juke joint to go out, and when Mary left the juke joint to go out and try to see the angle that the vampires, the Irish, had trying to find out their angle, Stack gave her a gun
Oh,
for protection.
that's
And
right.
yeah, of course, yes, she didn't use it or may not have really known. Well, she had said earlier that Stack taught her how to fight, so I guess she knew a little something. But obviously, it wasn't didn't come in handy for her. Of course, they wouldn't have done the trick anyway, as at that time they didn't know what they were dealing with either.
But yeah, speaking of her clothes Annie's clothes, you can see a difference in Mary's clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mary's clothes are silk and a lot more revealing.
Yes. Yes.
So, you know, that could either be that she's searching for Stack's love, and Annie's more wholesome, more not searching for it. You know, not yeah. So yeah, that's something I just noticed.
Yeah.
Because you
Yeah.
were talking about the
Definitely.
colors, like the blue color,
Yep.
and hers is the peach color.
Yeah. Definitely. The way that the two women are portrayed are definitely different, and maybe it is part of what we were saying earlier about Stack not being able to have Mary really, but then Smoke and Annie. They're even looking at that. They have matching colors,
Yeah.
and there's something calming about that blue and Annie more of a calming type person as opposed to the more seductive um, idea of Mary.
Looks like her dress has stars on it, like stars, and
Yeah.
got this traditional looking stains. Not stains, but when you what's that called? When you stain something like tie dye.
Oh, tie dye look.
Yeah,
Yeah, up in there. Yeah, there could be something to that other than
and she got
her
a
stash of
pyramid.
blades and scissors.
Got a pyramid earring,
Hmm. Mm.
and these are traditional looking with possibly crystals and whatnot.
Yeah, part of her
I mean,
mojo bag
her
she's holding.
hair. You just
Yes.
gravitate to Annie more,
Yes.
being a black man,
Mm.
and then she's got some symbols on there too. On the belt, she has some type of symbols and whatnot. Everything that you
To
see
represent her tradition. Yeah.
is on purpose.
Yes. Yes.
Even the makeup artist was explaining how certain shadows changed in each one of the characters. So in some points, some of the background of the cheek and the cheek would be lighter for Smoke, but then for Stack, it's darker in certain places. So there's different types of looks
Yeah.
for them for their makeup and everything. Let's go back to the other one. I just had her up, but I'll pull it up in a second. But yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. I was
Yeah.
just
Yeah, that's good. There are definitely some differences in those two characters. And then, maybe a little later, not today, of course, but maybe a little later, we can throw in Sammy's and Perlene's relationship to see how that one pans out in comparison to the Smokestack twins with
yeah,
Mary and Annie.
that was a big lust
Yes,
relationship.
yes, yes. Because like Mary, we said Mary and Stack wasn't married, but we failed to say again that Mary was married. So that's kind of like the relationship with Pearline and Sammy that she was married then too. So it's some interesting dynamics to talk about with these relationships and control. And we look forward to coming back again to analyze these relationships, to talk about the power and control, the vulnerability in them, and I will be out of town next week, so we look forward to King Jewel leading the discussion and telling us more about this great movie, Sinners. And I think we're going to close out with the little
Yeah.
So Nine Divine Timing before
yeah.
we leave out. So thank you
Yeah.
all for listening again today.
Yeah, if you want to be a featured artist, we'll be promoting spiritual artists and people who have positive messages on our Center Sundays and things that are thought-provoking and make you think about African spirituality. So, reach out to us. We'll
Yes.
see y'all soon.
Yes. So Nine? So Nine, gonna close us out. See you soon. We're gonna.
Right, we need to figure out something for the end of this Center Sunday
Center Sunday.
spiritual
Yes.
discussions with
Spiritual discussions.
Mama Julie.
Yes. We're gonna close out. Divine Timing.
Navigated through these plains. Once you
The revolution will not be
See you next
televised.
week. Bye-bye.
Peace. I like to sit and meditate on what it is I'm going to work on, or I meditate on the canvas And after a while,
statements out to the people through his work, and you do the same thing, Q. So you're representing very well here on being the Malcolm Jamal Warner tribute. Now we're going to take some time right now to see Malcolm Jamal in action right here on the BAF Solutions Network.
Join us, BAF.Solutions.